with our Shravanam of Bhagavata Katha. So, I thought I shared the screen. I'm going to share the screen.
पावर में से निकाल दो उसके, ओवरचार्ज होके बैटरी खराब है यहाँ।
केशवन प्रभु आप I think thank you Prabhu.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Prabhu.
I was not on mute. Sorry, Mataji.
That's okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Are we ready? Okay, let's do the recap. Srimad Bhagavatam. We have covered the first introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the specialty of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the whole Srimad Bhagavatam in 1 hour. After that, we have divided the first canto into the 4 topics. The first topic, the 6 questions of the Naimisharanya sages, that was covered. Second topic, Narada Vyasa Samvada regarding the appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam, that was covered. And we are in the third topic now, that is about the stutis. And again, why were the stutis? Why were the praises given to the Lord? Because he's Bhakta Vatsala, yeah, very affectionate to the devotees. So that's the topic we are in. The next topic is about Parikshit Maharaj. So that can wait. That will be next week. And let's see if we can hear all the stutis today. And in the stutis, we have heard about, we have heard from Arjuna when Ashwadhama released the Brahmastra. After that came Uttara Devi to protect her baby in the womb, Parikshit Maharaj. And after that, we have heard about from Kunti Devi, right? And how wonderfully Queen Kunti has offered the prayers. We have seen how she acknowledged the tattva of the Lord first, how he is Antaryami, and after that, how he is Paramatma. And then she mentioned how he actually comes as Bhagavan to reciprocate with the devotees. There, she first mentioned how he appeared as Devaki Nandana, right? And then she mentioned about Nanda Yashoda also. After that, she said, yes, you came as Bhagavan and you appeared as their son. But not just that, Krishna, you actually reciprocated with me too, with our family too. And then she enumerated all the difficulties that she had, her whole family had, and how Lord Krishna was always there for their family. And after enumerating the difficulties, she said, it's okay for these difficulties to come again and again, because when these difficulties come, all the material attachments, the material entanglement that I might be having, I will be liberated from that material entanglement and attachment by turning towards you, the Lord in the heart, and taking shelter of your lotus feet. Me taking shelter of the lotus feet means I'm already getting the liberation. So for that reason, I am not deterred. Please bring in more difficulties so my material entanglements can go away. That was Queen Kunti's prayer. And after that, she said, what are all the blocks that would be present for any one of us to make that internal journey? 4 blocks that she mentioned: Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shrivir. And after that, she mentioned that there can be many reasons. Many people say there are different reasons for your appearance here. But, oh Lord, in order to rescue these souls, conditioned souls that are in miseries, in order to rescue them, you appeared here so they can hear about you, they can think of you, and they can worship you. And that's how they can get liberated from this karma cycle and then get attached to you. That's why this hearing and smarana of Krishna and worshipping of Krishna, also taking delight when others are also discussing about our Lord. When somebody does this, then Tayeva Pashyanti Achirena Tavakam Bhava Pravaho Paramam Padambujam. Then one will see the lotus feet of the Lord. How long would it take? Achirena Tavakam. Again, very soon one would see the lotus feet of the Lord. So, oh my Lord, let my consciousness just flow towards your lotus feet in service as the rivers flow into the ocean without any disturbance. That is my prayer to you. That's how Queen Kunti Devi offers her prayers. And after hearing all the prayers from Kunti Devi, Lord accepts all of them very gracefully and then smiles and was about to start in the chariot to Hastinapura, to Dwaraka. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj comes and he looked very morose. He was sad and he started speaking to the Lord. Then he says, I have committed great sins. I think I have waged, I was involved in this war and I was the main reason for the whole massacre to happen. So there is no prayaschitta for me. Even if I do the Ashwamedha Yajnas, there is no prayaschitta for me. Just for me, for my sake, for me, for me to sit onto the royal throne, for my sake, I have done this war. So I feel very guilty. I am very remorseful. And so he starts expressing all that to Lord Krishna. And then Lord Krishna, he tries to console him, saying, no, Yudhishthira. He's elder to him. So no, King Dharmaraja, that's not the case. You waged this war because this is a Dharma Yuddha. So it's not for your own selfish desire, but it is actually a Dharma Yuddha. So you did not do anything wrong. You only fought for Dharma, so you shouldn't be feeling like that. So he says like that. Lord Krishna says that. But as Paramatma, he doesn't let Yudhishthira settle within. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is unable to settle within, even though Lord Krishna is talking like that externally. He hears Lord speaking. And why is Lord Krishna doing this? Because he has two reasons here. One is Lord Krishna knows that Bhishma Deva is waiting for him to have his darshan. So he has to go there. He has to have a reason, excuse to go there, right? So by not letting Yudhishthira settle within the heart, now he's directing Yudhishthira to Bhishma, so he can hear about different kind of dharmas. So that's one of the reasons why he wasn't letting him settle down inside Yudhishthira just with his words. And second thing is, Lord Krishna was also thinking of Bhishma Deva. Lord Bhishma Deva, Bhishma Pitama, was also a pure devotee. But because he took the side of non-virtuous Kauravas, then the message has to go out. However strong and powerful a warrior may be, if they don't take the side of Dharma, if they take the side of Adharma, then they will collapse like Bhishma Pitamaha, the great warrior. To send that message out, Lord Krishna, since Bhishma Pitama was a pure devotee, he had to do what he has to do in order to safeguard the throne of Kuru Vamsha. So he had a reason why he has to do it, but the message had to go out that even though somebody is very strong, if they take the side of Adharma, then they would just fall like Bhishma Pitama. So these were the two reasons why Lord Krishna was not letting Yudhishthira settle within. One is he has to go and give the appearance to Bhishma Deva. And but though he is a pure devotee, why did he have to go through what he is going through now with the bed of arrows? Because he took the side of adharma. That's why. Okay, so Lord Krishna brings Yudhishthira to Bhishma Deva. So Bhishma Deva can talk to him about different kind of dharmas. So Yudhishthira can feel a little consoled, settled inside, and get answers to his questions regarding dharma. So for that purpose, all the Pandavas and accompanied by Lord Krishna came to the Yuddha Bhumi, the war zone. All the war is over, but Bhishma is in his final stages. And it's described as the Pandavas, Yudhishthira is along with his brothers, and Lord Krishna is coming. They were looking beautiful. Bhishma was looking at them so affectionately because he hasn't seen them in those royal attires for a long time. So he was looking at those Pandavas very affectionately. And the Pandavas came. Also Lord Krishna came to Bhishma, and Bhishma greeted the Pandavas accordingly and worshipped Lord Krishna accordingly. And by that time, there are many other great personalities from different planets who were there to be present while Bhishma Deva is going to leave his body, the glorious departure. So that was the setting. Yeah. And now Bhishma Deva, we will see what Bhishma Deva's, Bhishma Pitama's prayers are here. Okay. So all of them, all the Pandavas came, Lord Krishna came, and here they are. So Yudhishthira, after welcoming all of them, Bhishma Deva, he addresses Pandavas first. He says, Aho kashtam, aho anyayam, yadyuham dharmanandanaha, jivitam na arhata klishtam vipra dharma achyutashrayaha. Here we have to note something. Bhishma Pitamaha, very similar to Queen Kunti's prayers. First, after speaking few words to Pandavas, Bhishma Pitamaha, again, he addresses Lord Krishna with the tattva, as Srimati Kunti Devi did. And after that, you will see how beautifully he gets absorbed in the Rupa, Guna, and Leela. How he goes into meditation. So this is beautiful, Bhishma Pitamaha prayers, and also please observe the sequence of how the prayers go and what he does. Yeah. So first, he's addressing the Pandavas. He's saying, Aho kashtam, aho anyayam. Oh, such miseries, difficulties fell upon you, and such injustice fell upon you. But with all those, you could somehow survive, which is not otherwise possible. And it is because Vipra, Dharma, Achyuta Ashraya, because you have done three things. You took shelter of Achyuta, Lord Krishna, and you took shelter of Dharma. Taking shelter of Achyuta, that kind of Dharma is Bhakti. So that Bhakti you have done, and you took shelter of Achyuta. You also took shelter of Vipra. Vipra is Brahmanas here. But they did not take shelter of the Smarta Brahmanas for the rituals. They took a shelter of the Brahmanas that led him to Krishna, Lord Krishna's shelter. So in this way, because the Pandavas took shelter of Vipra, devotees, Dharma, Bhakti, and Achyuta, they could somehow survive all these difficulties for such a long time. So there is one take-home point for us as devotees here. Devotees also go through the difficulties as non-devotees or atheists. But the difference between the devotees going through the difficulties and non-devotees is, devotees take shelter of Vipra, the pure devotees, Dharma, the bhakti process, Achyuta, lotus feet of Lord Hari. Because they take shelter of Lord Krishna through Bhakti Yoga under the instructions of pure devotee, though they go through the difficulties, they are getting out of the karma cycle and are getting close to Krishna with their bhakti deepening, faith deepening, and taste increasing in bhakti. But for the non-devotees, all these things do not happen. And not only that, but they get struck with karma even more during the difficulties if they don't take shelter of Achyuta. So for devotees, they get out of the karma cycle and get closer to Krishna. For non-devotees or atheists, they get embedded even more in karma cycle. So that's the difference. And after that, Bhishma Deva, after saying, oh, so many difficulties that you have gone through, such an injustice, but you nicely took shelter of the devotees Bhakti and Achyuta. And you know, Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Dharmaraja, why do you have to go through all these difficulties? Sarvam kalam kritam manne bhavatam chayada priya. Sapalo yadvashe loko vayureva ganavali. This is why you have gone through the difficulties. See the Kala is so strong. Time is so strong. Even the demigods and that rule the directions are also subordinate to the time. That's why you also had to go through this. It's just the influence of time. He says that, but immediately he says, Nahyasya karhichid rajan, Uman veda viditsitam, Yad vijignasya yukta, Mohyanti kavayo api, Mohyanti. This is bewildering. Wait a minute. Did I say that you have gone through this under the influence of time? No. This is Mohyanti kavayo api. Nahyasya karhichid rajan, Uman veda viditsitam, Yad vijignasya yukta. Lord Krishna was with you. You are the son of Dharmaraja. Arjuna is a Savyasachi. And Bhima is a Gadadhara. Such strong personalities. On top of everything, Lord Krishna was with you. How come you be under the influence of time? How can karma get back to you like this under the influence of time? No. This is not because of the karma or it's because of the time. This is simply Lord's arrangement for you. And you may ask, why this kind of arrangement? Uman Veda Vilsitam, even the great scholars also, Muhyanti Kavayo Apihi, they are bewildered. They cannot understand Lord's arrangement. So, Dharmaraja, Yudhishthira, what he's indirectly saying is, you may feel so unsettled inside. And it is the Lord's plan is unfathomable, bewildering, and cannot be understood. So don't even try to. You just accept what is arranged for you. Now that you have won the war, you will have to take the throne and rule as an emperor, my lord. That's what Bhishma says. So this is one thing for us, especially for the Sharanagata Bhaktas. Can somebody take care of the videos, please, for the devotees in case they didn't know that their video is on? Thank you. For the Sharanagata Bhaktas, for them, the moment somebody takes Sharanagati, even if it's a sadhaka or pure devotee or whoever it is, when there is Atma Kandana and when there is complete surrender to the Lord, there is no more karma. Then what is it that's happening to them? It is it's the arrangement of the Lord. Sometimes we can understand, sometimes we don't understand. As in the case of Chitraketu, as in the case of Bharata, Jada Bharata, like that. So we are limited. Our thought is limited to the modes, but the Lord is beyond the modes. That's why muhyanti kavayo api. We may not understand it, but we just accept it as prasad, arrangement, and we continue to do our bhakti. And we see what our next immediate service is, and we go on. It's the same thing here. Especially when the difficulties come upon, then we don't understand. So we are insignificant, conditioned souls. But what is Bhagavatam teaching? What are the Pandavas? What is the instruction of Bhishma Dev? What is their conversation? It's the same thing. For them, if they're saying Muhyanti Kavayo Api, how can we understand? So we can't understand. We don't necessarily have to understand why things are happening to us. And if we just take them as Lord Krishna's arrangement and in the direction and instruction of our Sri Guru and Acharyas, if we just continue, go on with bhakti and service, then it is said that Sri Guru and Krishna actually looks at us to see what we would do when these arrangements happen. So when we just go on with that faith, then it's like we please them. I was going to say we won the game, but it is Krishna and Guru that wins the game when we just go with that faith in bhakti. So that's something for us to take home. We may not understand the arrangement, but we go on in the shelter doing whatever service is given to us. Next. Now, after addressing the Pandavas, Bhishma Deva looks at Lord Krishna. Same as Kunti Devi. Yeah, Kunti Devi has addressed Lord Krishna as Paramatma Antaryami, right? And then said, okay, you're Bhagavan. Please see what Bhishma Deva is saying. Esha vai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Puman Mohayan Mayaya Lokam Gudascharati Vrishnishu. Oh Krishna, Esha vai Bhagavan, look who is here. Bhagavan, Sakshat Bhagavan is here. Adyo Narayana Puman, he is the source of all the Narayanas. In Brahma Vimohan Leela, there are all the cowherd boys. They were actually Narayanas turned into cowherd boys. So there it is shown how Krishna is the source of all Narayanas. Yeah. Mohayan Mayaya Lokam Gudascharati Vishnu. What? You, Lord Krishna, you are the source of all the Narayanas, but Gudascharati Vishnu. You, like a disguise as a human being, you are just wandering amongst these Vrishnis. Mohayan Mayaya Lokam. In this way, you are bewildering everybody, my Lord. That's why people cannot see you as Bhagavan, because you are disguised. Mohayan Mayaya Lokam. But you are the original Narayana. You are the source of Narayana. And then Bhishma Deva also glorifies how he is Sarvatmana, Paramatma. He is the Atma of all the living entities. And how he is Samadrishaha, how he is equal to all the living entities. So like that he glorifies. So he also acknowledged that Lord Krishna is the source of all Narayanas and is also Paramatma. But same thing. Tathapi ekanta bhakteshu pashya bhupanukampitam yanmeshums tyajata saksha krishno darshanamagata. But tathapi ekanta bhakteshu, for those devotees who has undeviated attention and faith for you, my Lord, you come as Bhagavan. And when you come as Bhagavan, and when the devotees do bhakti, what does the bhakti do? Bhaktyaveshya mano yasmin vachayan nama kirtayan yajan kalevaram yogi muchyate kama karmevi. With the bhakti yoga, bhakti aveshya, when the bhakti Aveshya is coming upon. When the bhakti takes over somebody, the devotional energy, when somebody is under the influence of the devotional energy, Mano yasmin vacha hyam nama kirtana, their mind is absorbed in your thoughts. Their words are about you. They're fully filled about your topics. And in this way, when they leave their body, Tyajan Kalevaram Yogi, Muchyate Kama Karmibi, they are liberated from this karma cycle. Because when we are with the Lord, liberation is by default it happens. So that's the power of Bhakti Yoga. Mind filled with Krishna, words filled with Krishna. When somebody leaves the body with the thoughts of Krishna, that's it. That's the end of the karma cycle. This is both journey and the goal too. Mind filled with Krishna, thoughts filled with Krishna, words filled with Krishna at all times. At all times, and also by default automatically during the leaving of the body, during leaving of the body. Yes. So that's that's the power of your thought, Krishna. That's the power of bhakti. So he glorifies that. So he said, yes, you are Bhagavan. And now he's saying, when the bhakti is done to Bhagavan, this is the beauty. This is what happens. They just come out of this karma cycle. They get liberated. And then says, oh my Lord, now would you please appear with your Chaturbhuja, Vishnu Rupa? Because Bhishma is more in Virya Rasa, right? And that's why he wanted to see, he's more attached to the Lord in this form. So that's why Lord Krishna, since he is the source of all the Narayanas, he can quickly show him the Narayana Rupa too. So that's what Bhishma was asking. Would you please show your the Chaturbhuja Rupa? That was his prayer. So as Queen Kunti did, Bhishma Deva also acknowledged the Tattva, including the Bhagavad Tattva. And he was asking, would you please give the darshan of your four-handed form so I can just be absorbed in the thought of it. And then when they're absorbed like that, Bhishma Deva, four-handed form, that's Partha Sarathi Loka. That's one more Vaikuntha planet. So that way he can go to that planet. And that's why he was asking if he can have that darshan. But just then, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he wanted to ask few questions to Bhishma Deva because he knew that Bhishma Deva, these are final moments of Bhishma Deva. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj says, would you please tell me about Varnashrama Dharma, Bhakti Dharma, Bhagavata Dharma, Stri Dharma, Moksha Dharma? He had many questions to ask. Now that he's going to be the emperor and he has to rule, he wanted to hear from Bhishma Deva. So he asked all those questions and Bhishma Deva answered all of them. Remember, he was just about to meditate on the Lord. He just asked for the darshan of Chaturbhuja Rupa. But since Yudhishthira had all those questions, he answered all of them. After answering all of them, Bhishma, he remains silent, as if there is nothing more to talk and his business, his job is done on this planet. Then he turned towards the Lord. Now see what happens. This is, we often hear about Harinam, Rupa, Guna, Leela, right? Here, Lord Krishna is standing right in front of Bhishma Deva. And please see how the meditation is going now. Please see how the prayers are going. So far, he has acknowledged the Tattva. He has answered Yudhishthira's question, and now his meditation starts. Bhishma Uvacha. Bhishma is saying, Iti mater upakalpita Vishna vi Trishna. Iti mater upakalpita vi Trishna. Bhagavati satvata pungave vibhumni. Swasukham upagate kvachit vihattum prakritim upiyeshu yad bhava pravaha. Now, yat iti matir, my mind. Upakalpita, I want to engage my mind. Vitrishna is without the touch of the modes. See, the mind has three functions. Yeah, and he's saying, my iti matir upakalpita, I want to engage my mind on whom? Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumi, onto you, Bhagavan. Yeah. Swasukham upagate kvachit vihattum prakritim upiyeshu yad bhava pravaha. He's talking about how he wants to engage three faculties of the mind. Please remember, very much pertinent to us. Now, Bhishma Deva says, this mind has three things: thinking, feeling, and willing. Now, Bhishma Deva, please see how he starts thinking about Krishna. And when he starts thinking about Krishna, first his Rupa, he starts thinking about the Rupa of Krishna. And then as he thinks about the Rupa of Krishna, meditates on the Rupa of Krishna and the Guna of Krishna, you will see how that goes here. How much of a Bhakta Vatsala he is. How eager he is to reciprocate with the devotees. That Guna, Bhakta Vatsala, is also Guna of the Lord. The qualities, when we say name qualities, name, form, qualities, and pastimes, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. In the Guna, Bhakta Vatsala is also a Guna. Very affectionate is a quality. Lord's quality, being very affectionate to the devotees. So he's meditating on that quality of how much of a Bhakta Vatsala he is. So when somebody thinks about a quality, the Kalyana Gunagana of the Lord, they will start to feel something. What? Our Lord? So merciful, so eager to reciprocate with us, so eager to help us. Oh my, how fortunate am I? So this feeling of how fortunate am I? I'm so grateful to you, my Lord. That feeling naturally comes. So thinking, feeling. And it doesn't stop there. How fortunate am I? And you are always there for me. And you are eager to reciprocate with me, regardless of me being attentive to you or wanting to reciprocate with you. You are such a Bhakta Vatsala. I want to reciprocate with you now, my Lord. How can I serve you now? How can I please you now? That is willing, wishing. After feeling the Guna of the Lord, of how affectionate and eager he is for us, the next thing is, now I want to serve you. This is my wish. This is my willing now. I want to reciprocate with you. This is the natural sequence. They are all pure devotees. They might be fully filled with this. Though we are sadhakas, we are at least a little bit filled with this. But if we nurture this, as Bhishma Deva is saying, and we get into the habit of this towards Achyuta, then the influence of the modes will slowly wane away. This is how we say, when we are towards Ardha Pravritti, increase our attachment to the Lord, thinking, feeling, willing, serving, whatever anarthas that we have, they go away. No worries. Don't have to pay any attention, focus to that. They will go away. All our attention and focus is to thinking, feeling, and willing for Achyuta. So this is what Bhishma Deva said. Now I want to invest my thinking and feeling and willing for you, Achyuta. Now he's starting to think. See what he's thinking. Tribhuvana kamanam tamala varnam ravikara gaura varambaram dadani vapuralaka kulavrutananabjam vijaya sakhe ratirastu me anavadya. He's describing Rupa of the Lord now. Now the meditation is going to Rupa, Guna, and Leela. This is about the Rupa. How he is Tribhuvana Kamanam. Kamanam is desirable to all these three worlds. Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suraloka. All of you, all of them want to see you, my Lord. They are desiring to see you. Tamala Varnam, you have the Varnam of Tamala tree, complexion of the Tamala tree. Ravikara Gaura Varambaram Dadane, and your dhoti, the yellow color. Gaura is yellow color. Ravikara, sun rays. Varambaram, dazzling. So your yellow golden garment is dazzling, is dazzling. Yeah. And that's the garment you wore. Dadane is, that's what you're wearing. Vapur alaka kula vrutana nabjam, and your body is decorated with the paints and sandalwood paste. Vijaya Sakhe, oh Sakhe of Arjuna. Ratirastu me anavadya. I want, Ratir is attachment. Let my attachment go towards you like this. And the very next Rupa description is Yuddhituragarajo vidhumra vishwa kachalulita shramavaari alankritasye mamanishita sharai vibhidyamana vachvila satkavache astu krishnatma. This is giving us the indication of the rasa of Bhishma. He's in Virya rasa. You know what he's saying here? So far we can understand, okay, your Lord, your complexion is Tamala Varna, and you are, everybody is desiring your darshan, and you are wearing this golden, dazzling yellow garment. That everybody can understand. But see what Bhishma Deva is saying here. Not only that, Krishna, my Lord, in the Yuddha Bhumi, your hair, curly hair, was flowing with the wind, and the ash and the dust from that ground got settled on your curly hair that's flowing with the wind. So your hair is ashen with the dust from the ground, and your face was decorated with the drops of sweat. And your hair was scattered too. Not only that, with the weapons that I'm throwing at you, you are beautified with the wounds. We don't hear this kind of description. Beautified with the wounds? What? Isn't that hurting to Krishna, wounds? No. For somebody who's in Virya Rasa, they don't think it is a hurt. And Lord Krishna also doesn't think that it's a hurt. For somebody in Madhurya Rasa, they throw flowers. For somebody in Virya Rasa, they throw arrows. We may not understand, we can't comprehend, but that's the Rasa, Virya Rasa. So that's why Bhishma Deva is saying, you looked so beautiful, my Lord, with the wounds that I caused you. And you accepted them. And with the sweat, drops of sweat on the face, and with the ashen hair, you just look so beautiful. So his meditation on the Rupa is this. And then he also describes that he wants to get attachment to this Rupa, this Parthasarathi Rupa. The Lord Krishna in the war as Parthasarathi. That is his attachment. That is his rasa. So after describing the Rupa, now see what his Bhishma Devi is doing. He's meditating. He's thinking of how he reciprocated with the devotees, his pastimes with the devotees. And what happened in the battlefield? What are those pastimes with the devotees in the battlefield? With the Arjuna. Even before he brought the chariot in the very middle, Arjuna, Lord Krishna, just by glancing the opposite party, he has cut down the ayush of the other opposite party. Yeah, the army of the opposite party. That's the first mercy. And second mercy is when Arjuna, he asked to bring the chariot in the middle, he did that. The Lord did that. And as we all know, Arjuna had his bewilderment. So the Gita can be instructed. So Bhishma Deva is thinking about, oh, you, my Lord, You glanced at the opposite party on the soldiers and you cut down their ayush for their own benefit. So they don't have to go through the pain. And then you have enlightened Arjuna in the midst of the war zone. And then during the war, you actually promised that you would not carry any weapon in the war. But when I tried to attack Arjuna and his chariot got stuck in the sand, and when I was about to release arrow to hurt Arjuna, you could not see that. You couldn't see that your devotee getting hurt. You didn't care if your promise was broken. So you didn't mind to pick that Radha Anga, which is the wheel of the chariot. And you charged towards me. And that gave me such great pleasure. Looking at you charging towards me with that astra of the Radha Anga in your hand, the wheel of the chariot, because it is in Virya Rasa. So you didn't care about your promise, your prestige. All you cared was Arjuna, your devotee's safety and his life. How wonderful is that? And also, so this Parthasarathi Rupa, let this be my attachment. And after this pastimes in the Kurukshetra war, he actually thinks of the great unconditional love of the gopis. He addresses them as Gopi Jana. After the Virya Rasa, he's actually coming to Madhurya Rasa and he's glorifying the gopis. Bhishma is in the Virya Rasa, but he's offering such glorification to Madhurya Rasa and the unconditional love of the gopis. So that is the place of Madhurya Rasa. Other devotees, they may be having their own rasa, but the Madhurya Rasa of the gopis, which is unconditional, they did not care for anything. They didn't care if Lord Krishna was the Lord or not. They didn't care if they were going to go to hell, if they give their food dust to get rid of Lord Krishna's headache. So all they wanted was Lord Krishna to be happy, regardless of what's happening to their bodies, to their mind, to their lives. That is Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Radokshaj. Ahaituki Apratihata. That's their love. Ahaituki and Apratihata, the topmost one. So this is what Bhishma Deva was also glorifying. Oh, how wonderful, how fortunate are those gopis that they imbibed that unconditional love for you, Gopi Janavallabha, Govinda. And then he thinks of Krishna in Rajasuya Yajna, how beautifully he looked in Rajasuya Yajna. So thinking all this, meditating on this, on the rupa that he wanted, the gunas he described, the pastimes he could think of, finally, he did not say anything more. And then he breathed his last. And he entered the Parthasarathi Loka. That's one of the Vishnu Loka. That's how Bhishma Deva did his bhajan with Rupa, Guna, Leela on the Ampasaya, that is the bed of arrows, in the battlefield. That was his meditation, Bhishma Deva's. And thus he entered into the transcendental world, to that transcendental planet, and everybody was just very quiet. Bhagavatam says at the end of the day, in the evening, as all the birds stop chirping, as it is quiet, everybody was just quiet, knowing that Bhishma Deva has breathed his last. And then after that, everybody that is present there worshipped Krishna. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj came back. And after a few days, after he was consoled, then everyone returned to Hastinapur and consoled others and successful rule of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So he returned. Yudhishthira Maharaj came back and then sat on the throne. That's about the Bhishma Deva's prayers. Yeah. Now let's see what happened in the Hastinapura after Yudhishthira Maharaj got onto the throne. And after a few days, I'm trying to bring in the 10th chapter. Yes, we got it. I'm going to give just a 2-second pause. So all the prayers of Bhishma Deva can get within us. And now we're going back to the palace, the Hastinapura, where Yudhishthira was, and he was made as an emperor. And now it's time for Lord Krishna to go back to Dwaraka. Since he had stayed for some time, and now he's taking permission from the king, Yudhishthira. So he can give permission for the Lord to go back to Dwaraka. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj, he had to agree because Lord Krishna has been there for a long time. But one after the other, everybody starts feeling the separation now. The ladies in the palace, Draupadi, Uttara, Queen Kunti, all of them, they are starting to feel the separation. Until now, we heard about Bhishma Deva, right? That's all one zone. His meditation of Rupa Guna Leela of the Lord. And now, in the Hastinapura, this is a mood of Vipralamba. This is how a devotee feels when the Lord is leaving them physically. So this is a different mood. Yeah, this is a different mood. This is a mood of those devotees who has that taste. All of them are pure devotees and attached to Krishna. That's why they are feeling like that. But how about us? How can we feel that? This mood of Vipralamba, separation. We will get to that. So let's see. So the ladies of the Hastinapura, they started feeling that separation. And the tears were coming down of their eyes onto the cheeks, but they didn't want to show those tears. Because it is considered inauspicious to shed tears when somebody is going on a journey. That's why they tried hard to stop their tears. This is something that we want to keep in mind. It's not so much about our feelings in devotion, but what does it mean to the other person? What will it do to the other person? That's something for us to take home here. It will need some strength and maturity, but this is what we are learning from these devotees in the Hastinapura. They didn't want their feelings to come in the way of Lord Krishna's journey, affect him, basically. So not so much about our feelings, but what will it mean to the other person is important to know. Yeah, that's to keep in mind. Then that's about the ladies there. And after that, what to say about the Pandavas? These Pandavas, they were so close to the Lord. They ate together, played together, and Lord Krishna, he lied down with them. So such intimate relationship. And now he's leaving. So it was very much, it was very difficult for them. Very difficult for them. And this is considered like this. We say if somebody knows what gulab jamun means, and if they like it, and if they've been eating it every day, and all of a sudden if they don't eat it on one day, then they really know what they're missing. If they like that gulab jamun so much, they would go into withdrawal of gulab jamun if they like it so much. So it means for somebody to miss something, they have to know what the taste is. All these devotees, pure devotees, they know what the taste of being with Krishna means. That's why they were missing so much. What about us? We haven't met Lord Krishna yet. There is no darshan of the Lord yet. We are in Anardha Nivritti now. Yeah, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema, quit the body, and then Darshana, Vastu Siddhi. When we take our birth in Bhauma Vrindavan, wherever the pastimes are happening, and that's when we get the darshan of the Lord. Until then, what to do? What about us? What do we hang on to? We have Krishna Katha. We have Krishna Nama. If only we can develop that Ruchi for the Nama Ruchi, and that Ruchi for this Katha. The Katha of the glories of the Nama, Rupa of the Lord, Guna of the Lord, and pastime of the Lord, all this is equal to Harinama, because Harinam is Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, and of course, Gauranga brought Premadana, is all packed together. So if we develop that attachment, that Ruchi to the Nama and to the Krishna Katha, if we start getting that, and if we are chanting if our japa is like that with Nama Ruchi, if our Smarana, Shravana and Smarana of Krishna Katha is like that with Ruchi, and if that's how we are doing it regularly, and all of a sudden for some reason, if that doesn't happen, then we just don't feel good. That will be a withdrawal. Because there was so much Ruchi in the Nama, there was so much Ruchi in the Krishna Katha and Krishna Seva. And what happened all of a sudden? This isn't good. If we can feel like that, wow, that was so good. All these days, all these months, all these years, there was so much Ruchi. So that is something that we could aspire for in this stage. So our Krishna, Lord Krishna is close to us in the Nama and in the form of Katha to us. So we want to develop a attachment, Ruchi for those. With the Ruchi that is generated by Nama Ruchi and Katha Ruchi, it will manifest as Ruchi for Seva, like Bhishmadeva was, right? What is the result of thinking and feeling for Krishna? Willing to do his Seva. So Nama Ruchi, Katha Ruchi inside will manifest as Seva Ruchi outside. So that is where we are, what we can look for. That's what our journey and goal is as sadhakas for us. So that's about Pandavas. So Pandavas also felt like that, and then Lord Krishna had to leave. Yes, he left. And here you see, Arjuna was holding the umbrella, Uddhava is fanning, and Satyaki is also fanning. How beautiful is that? The Lord's majestically walking and the devotees are so wonderfully serving. How beautiful is that? Wonderful. And the Brahmanas are uttering all the mantras. So the Lord gracefully walked. And as he was walking, all the residents in Hastinapura, they were talking among themselves. They're saying, hey, look at that Lord, the Supreme Lord, who is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer, and who is not affected by any of these things, has personified that Bhagavan. We are seeing him. How lucky are we? If we are this lucky, this Bhagavan is married to all those queens in Dwaraka and actually resides there. What is the bhagyam? What is the fortune of those queens? So when these Hastinapura Vasis, the women are talking like that, Bhagavatam says, that talking about the Lord, that Shruti about the Lord is more sweeter than the Shruti of the Vedas. So the glorification offered by these devotees out of affection to the Lord is much more superior than the formal glorification that is offered by Vedas. That's what Bhagavatam says. Yeah? So they were glorifying like that. And yeah, they were saying how wonderful, how fortunate are those wives there in Dwaraka, that they get to be with Lord Krishna and have that intimate reciprocation with the Lord. How merciful is the Lord that he claimed all those queens who were under the custody of the asuras also. So he didn't look at those queens if they're pure, impure, nothing, but he was so merciful. He just accepted all of them. How wonderful is he? So they were just glorifying like that. And then in this way, the Lord was leaving Hastinapura. Yudhishthira could not just leave, send Lord Krishna by himself. He sent so many elephants and so many chariots and so many priests to accompany him, just to show how affectionate, all his affection to Lord Krishna, and of course also to protect him. So that was his gesture. So after going for a little bit, Lord Krishna says, no, that's fine. I can go on now. You all please go back. So after that, all the Pandavas and all that elephants and chariots, they came back to Hastinapura, and the Lord, with his confidential associates, headed to Dwaraka. Okay, now we are moving from Hastinapura to Dwaraka. So far, we have seen what that feeling of Vipralamba or separation means. What those devotees are feeling during separation. Because they had ruchi, and that's why when the object, the Priti Vishaya is going away, they felt that feeling, Vipralamba Bhava. So that was in Hastinapura. Now Dwarakavasis, they are going to receive the Lord. Receiving is union, right? So this is Sambhogarasa. Receiving union is Sambhogarasa. Let's enter Dwaraka, following in the footsteps of the Lord, behind his chariot. Okay. Now, Lord is entering Dwaraka. That's Dwaraka. I guess we are somewhere behind there at this time during this katha. So, Lord has entered Dwaraka, and as soon as he arrived at Dwaraka, entered, he blows his conch shell. And here it is said that the conch shell was, it said a conch shell, it was white, and Lord Krishna's lips were red, right? So when he was blowing that white, thick, fat conch shell, white, beautiful conch shell, the redness of the lips of the Lord had made the conch shell also look red. And the conch shell looked like a swan entangled with the stems of the lotus. That was the description. White swan playing in stems of red lotus. Was a beautiful meditation, right? So here there is something that is said. Srila Prabhupada also says that in his purport. As the conch shell, which is material, which is white in color, has turned to red with the touch of the lotus lips of the Lord, that's how the conch shell turned from white to red, from material to spiritual, with the touch of the Lord. In the same way, devotees, though our bodies, our existence is material, because of the bhakti that we are practicing, bhakti to Bhagavan is something transcendental, though we are material. So when bhakti to Bhagavan is being performed by a bhakta, then the bhakta also slowly gets transformed to transcendental. Bhakta also becomes transcendental. So that's how Srila Prabhupada's body, though it looks like a regular material body made of Bhumi Rapor Analo Vayur, his consciousness is full fully filled with Krishna. That's how his body is also transcendental. The chemistry may be the same, Bhumirapuranalovayo, but the energy that is pervading in that pure devotee is totally transcendental. And that's why that would disturb any other mortal body did not disturb him. Even on the deathbed, so-called deathbed, last breath also, he was translating Bhagavatam with such clarity, such firmness, such faith, such detachment to the body. What is that kind of body called? Transcendental. As opposed to anybody else, any other body that is soul that is leaving the body. So that's how the bodies also become transcendental to the modes when they practice bhakti to Bhagavan. And now, as the Lord is coming to Dwarakavasis, what are their prayers? Here you see, these are all beautiful prayers. And this is very relevant to us. So please pay attention. And most of them are in tune with the Sharanagati. See what the residents of Dwarakavasis are saying. Bhavayanastvam bhava vishva bhavana tvamiva mata suhrit patih pita tvam satgururna paramam cha daivatam yasyanu kritino bhubhu vimam Bhavayanastvam bhava vishva bhavana tvamiva mata suhrit patih pita. So, oh Lord, we are in this material world, but you, Bhavayanasvam, you are there for us. Like what? From eva mata suhrut patir pita. You are like our mother. You are like our father. You are like our husband. You are like our Lord. And you are like our guru. Not like, you are. You are our mother, father, husband, guru, paramamcha daivatam, our very Lord. Yasya anuvrutya. Anuvrutya is walking in the footsteps. As we walk in your footsteps, we get all auspiciousness. So for Dwarakavasis, Lord Krishna is Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Travinam Tvameva. This is by Sri Ramanuja. But this is the general feeling of these pure devotees. For them, they may be full of this feeling and they're saying it naturally, but they're teaching us. So we can walk in their footsteps. See how the Lord is our Mata, our Pita, our Pati, our Guru. These are the songs of Sharanagati, that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. All the themes are based on this, the Srimad Bhagavatam, this prayers. And this is so beautiful. They also say, Aho Sanata. We are not anatha. We are not left alone. No. We don't feel lonely. We are not left alone. Our life is not just, we are not just struggling with our life. No, we are Sanatha. We have a Natha. And that Natha is very Sa, very good. So we are the property of good Lord. You are there for us. No, very equivalent term is Mamata. Mamata for the Acharyas. No, I am not an anatha. I am not a disconnected piece. No, I am very much connected. I am very much connected to the Guru Parampara. I am not anatha. I have Sanatha. I have my Acharyas. I have my Sri Guru. That's it. And they will take care of me. That feeling, assured feeling, is Sanatha. We are not anatha. We are not anatha. And they're also saying, we have unbearable separation when you go away, my Lord, our Lord. You stay here all the time. We see you all the time, but you always look ever fresh. We are never satiated, but when you leave, we go in withdrawal. It's the same thing. For all of them, it's the same problem. Because Krishna, Akarshita Shakti, attractive. And Na Ananda. His personification of that attraction towards him and the giver of such Ananda. So when that is not there, of course, everybody would feel like that. That's what these devotees are saying. Yeah? And then they say, it's very difficult to stay alive in not seeing your beautiful smiling face. Hush, if only we can also feel like, oh, Harinam, it's so difficult if I don't chant your name. Oh, Krishna, it's so difficult not hearing about you. It's so difficult not thinking about you. Yeah, that's something for us sadhakas, if we can feel like that. We don't want to be apathy. We don't want to show apathy to God, to Krishna. Oh, I'm not thinking about Krishna, but that's fine. It's okay. I mean, we don't even care if we don't have that attachment. The devotees here, they are so much attached. So this is something that we could learn from them. And then, yes, Lord Krishna is walking through the streets. He's accepting everything that all the residents are giving. The residents, they were bringing whatever they have at home, the grains, the milk products, the flowers, the fruits, everything. What, how much is it to Lord Krishna? To his opulence, what would that grain mean? What would that fruit mean? Does it mean anything? It does mean a lot to the Lord because of the affection that they have for him, the love they have for him. Patram pushpam phalam thoyam. So the bhava that is carried is what is more valuable to the Lord. So they were also offering the patram pushpam. But how eagerly are they running and they want to offer it to God? If only we can remember this when we are offering bhoga to the Lord. I want to offer this to you, my Lord. Right? Not just as a sanctioner of prasadam. Okay, if I offer it, then I can get to eat the food. And that's like prasadam machine, like that. Instead of that, oh, I have cooked this for you. And I would like to offer this to you, my Lord. What does this vegetable mean to you? This grain mean to you? This is nothing. But you gave me a chance to offer this to you. And I'm very grateful to you. Please accept. That's it. That's when our bhoga cooking and offering is complete. When we are offering with that bhava. Right? And so, as moved along the streets, greeting everybody, acknowledging everybody. And by this time, all the men in the palaces, Vasudeva and Vasudeva, Akrura, Pradyumna, Balarama, all of them, they left whatever they're doing. They took on to the chariots and again, the horses, elephants, everything. They came in to receive the Lord. Okay, the Lord is received now. Beautiful. Now, a little meditation on the roop of the Lord. Yeah? Shriyo Nivaso Yasyora. Here on the chest of the Lord is residing Shri Vatsa. Somebody know, please. So, on the chest of the Lord is Shri Vatsa, Lakshmi Devi residing. Yeah? And Panapatram Mukham Drisham. Panapatram Mukham. The lotus feet of the Lord is something to drink for who? Drisham. Those who have the eyes to honor and glorify the beauty of the Lord. The Lord's face is like that. Panapatram. That mukham is like panapatram, drinking vessel, the nectar. And bahavo lokapalanam, his arms, they are the abode of the lokapalas. And saranganam padambujam, lotus feet, there dwells the devotees. Saranganam, worshipping the lotus feet, serving the lotus feet. So our Lord is walking very gracefully and majestically like that. And now he entered into the palace. Okay. And in the palace, he first greets the elders, mothers. Yeah. And mothers, because they are in Vatsalya Rasa, we have to see, even though Lord Krishna is like past 100 years, when mothers saw Lord Krishna because of the Vatsalya Rasa, then they had milk from their breasts because they are mothers. In the Vatsalya Rasa, so this is past material. This is an expression of the devotees in the Vatsalya Rasa. So that is why for those mothers, then their affection was like milk from their breasts. So he greets all the mothers, and then after greeting all the elders, and he comes to the wives, the queens of Dwaraka. There, when he comes to the queens, again, not like these days. Those days are more modest. So they cannot just come in front of the husband like that, in front of everybody. So these Dwaraka queens, they embrace the Lord in three ways. One is just by looking at the Lord with their eyes affectionately. Second is in their heart. That's the second way. And the third one is their children, when they went and embraced the Lord, then they felt like they went and embraced the Lord. So in this way, in these three ways, Dwaraka queens of Dwaraka received the Lord. And now he is with the queens of Dwaraka. He has so many wives. So does it all look so material? A husband, wife, it's looking very material, right? And then that's why they are giving the indication here. Srimad Bhagavatam says, do not get into the thought of everything that's going here is material. No. You want to know the position of the Lord? Uttama bhava pishunama laval guhasam. Vidavalokannihato madanopi asam. Sammuhya chapam ajahat pramadottamastam. Yasendriyam vimahitum kuhakaina shekuhu. These Dwaraka queens are beauty personified, but not a bit of their physical beauty would disturb the Lord because he's Atma Rama. But the devotion they had, the affection they had, and the service attitude that they had to please the Lord, that's what moves him. So just beyond material, transcendental relationship, transcendental reciprocations. That's in Dwaraka. The next Katha, we will go to Parikshit Maharaj, but this is what we have covered today. Covered three of them. Bhishma Pitama, Vipralamba of the Hastinapura Vasis, Sambhoga of the Dwaraka Vasis. So, we will go through this. Yes, let's do a quick summary. Bhishma Pitama, today, so we began the Katha by talking about Yudhishthira, how he was bewildered and morose. And Lord Krishna, though he was saying few words to pacify him externally, he wasn't letting Yudhishthira to settle down internally because he wants to take Yudhishthira to Bhishma. And Bhishma was also waiting for the Lord to have his darshan. And then they go to the Yudhishthira is taken, all the Pandavas and Bhishma, Pandavas and Krishna go to Bhishma. Bhishma receives the Pandavas, worships the Lord, and then after speaking few words to Pandavas, he says, what you have gone through is not because of the Kala. And this is all the Lord's arrangement. Mohyanti kavayo api. This is bewildering. So don't even really worry about this, Yudhishthira. Please just take this arrangement and just rule as an emperor. So that was the message he gave. And after that, he answered all the questions too regarding Stri Dharma, Varnashrama Dharma, Bhagavata Dharma, Moksha Dharma, everything to Yudhishthira. And then he turned his attention to the Lord, and he acknowledged how he is the source of all Narayanas, and how he is Samadrisha and Sarvatmana as Paramatma, but as Bhagavan to Ekanta Bhaktas. Then he glorified the potency of bhakti, the power of bhakti, how bhakti can bring a devotee out of this karma cycle just by the thought of the Lord and by the word about the Lord. And then he withdrew he stopped talking about any kind of dharmas. And he said, now I'm going to invest my thinking, feeling, and willing to Lord Krishna. This is where we have discussed about our thinking, feeling, and willing. Yeah. And then this is very natural. When we think of Krishna, we will feel for Krishna. When we feel for Krishna, then we want to reciprocate with Krishna. That comes out as service. That's when the whole circle is finished. Thinking, feeling, and willing. And that is bhakti. To think of Krishna, to feel for Krishna, and to do for Krishna. That's bhakti. Then we talked about how Bhishma Deva meditated on the Rupa of the Lord, especially as Parthasarathi Rupa on the battlefield. And he said he wanted to develop rati, attachment to that Parthasarathi Rupa. After that meditation on the Rupa, he was thinking about the pastimes, the Leela on the battlefield with the Arjuna, and how he took the chariot wheel and charged towards him. After that, he glorified the Madhurya Rasa. And then finally, he completely turned inside, went into meditation, left his body and entered the Parthasarathi Loka. And after that, that is all Bhishma Pitama. After that, Yudhishthira and all of them left to Hastinapura. And in the Hastinapura, we talked about the separating feelings of separation of the Hastinapura Vasis. There about all the women in the palace, how they were feeling they had tears coming because of the separation, but they thought their feeling should not be causing any disturbance to the Lord. So our feeling, it's not so important about what we feel, but what is important is what would it mean to others. That's something that we have discussed. After that, about the attachment of the Pandavas that they had for the Lord and how they were feeling separation so much. Then we have discussed about if only we could have that ruchi. They have tasted what it means to be with the Lord, and that's why they were feeling that they are going to miss that ruchi. So for us, what is accessible for us to taste that? Krishna Katha, Nama. So Nama Ruchi and Katha Ruchi. If only we can develop that attachment and taste for the Nama and Katha, and which would come out as Seva Ruchi. In that way, we can apply whatever these pure devotees are doing for them, right, in their situation. So that we have discussed. After that, yes, Lord Krishna came to Dwaraka, and then we talked about the conch shell, how a material thing is spiritualized just by the touch of the Lord. In the same way, devotees are also spiritualized by the touch of Bhagavad Shakti, which is bhakti. That's what we have discussed. And after that, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, whatever we are offering, the bhava, the gratitude, that is very important. We care for Krishna, the feeling for Krishna is very important. And there we talked about if only we could offer our bhoga like that to Krishna after we cook, right? And after that, regarding how the Dwaraka Vasis were greeting Lord Krishna, that he is the Mata, Pita, Pati, and also Paramam Daivatam. So that we talked about. And then we were thinking about the Sharanagati prayers of the Lord, of Bhaktivinoda Thakura, how it is applicable for us also. That he is our Mata, Pita, Guru, Paramancha Daivatam, and we are Sanatha. We are not Anadha. So we don't have to feel lonely, left out, troubled. No, we are Sanatha. We have our glorious Guru Parampara, our Sri Guru, who has connected to the Parampara. So we belong to somebody. And that somebody is Sanatha, glorious. And then we talked about how the Lord reciprocated with everybody, and some meditation on the Rupa of the Lord. And finally, how the Lord had exchanges with the elders in the palace and with the queens of the Dwaraka. And this ended with the description showing, with the explanation showing that the Lord is Atma Rama and is not really dependent on anything physical outside. He was not disturbed with the physical beauty of the Dwaraka queens, but he was moved by their affection, devotion, and the mode of service. That's what, even though Lord is Atma Rama, he is moved by the mood of devotion and service. That's about the Dwaraka. So that's all these 3 chapters together. Bhishma Deva, and Hastinapura Vasis and Dwaraka. I'm going to pause here. Thank you all so very much for being here. And Prabhu, we may pause the